Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sydney, and usually my nails are not quite this jagged looking, but it's been a week. I haven't had time to fix them yet, but I wanted to get this video up. So in today's video, we're going to be creating a dupe with my singles palette of the new NOMAD Cosmetics ICELAND Fire and Ice palette. You guys know, if you've been keeping up with my channel for a while, that I'm technically on an unofficial no-buy. So while I think this palette is beautiful and I really love NOMAD's formula, I am not purchasing it myself. So I thought instead it would be fun to hop on camera and create a dupe with you guys. My friend Natalie from Nat's Beauty Haven is actually creating a dupe as well. Fingers crossed if all goes well. Her palette and my palette should be going up later today. So I will link her Instagram down below if you guys want to check her out. She's the queen of single shadows. Her looks bring me so much inspiration and I just absolutely love her. But we thought it would be fun to collaborate and create a dupe palette together. So let's hop right into that. Okay guys, so when I look at this palette, I see some blues, some like silvery blue tones. I see like a warm tone column. I see some more blues and greens and like a black, and then I see some softer pastel-y tones. So for expedience sake, one, because like I need to film, edit, and upload this video all in today, and two, just because it's more fun for you guys to watch, I think I'm going to start by kind of grabbing the shades by category. So I do actually have another palette. This is a little sneak peek for a palette that's coming to my channel later this week, already prepared, and I feel like I might have to borrow some shades from there, but I don't really want to because like it's already pre-made for another video that I have coming to you guys on Thursday. But I've got lots of shadows in my collection, so I think I'm going to grab some candidates for the blues and greens and kind of silvery shadows. We'll put them all right here, and then we'll kind of go through and cull it down to create our perfect palette. So let's hop into the little speed through. Okay guys, so here are kind of the mostly blue greens that we're working with. I feel like I don't have as many light pastel-y green shadows as I thought I did. Actually, here's one that we can throw in right here now that I'm saying that. Okay, so I feel like we definitely need a deepener blue shadow. I feel like these are not quite as deep as the ones in the NOMAD palette, but my navy is currently in another palette that I really don't want to separate because I still have to create 2 more looks with it. Oh, you know what? Actually, let's throw this one in too. I apparently did not do a very good job of like grabbing the shades. Anyways, so it kind of looks like, you know what, here's another one that we're gonna add. It kind of looks like, based on the picture of the NOMAD palette, that these are mostly matte shadows, and I believe, let me scroll down and look. Well, I guess it's pretty even. 7 mattes, 6 shimmers, and 2 dazzling duochromes. Okay, so we can do kind of an even mix of mattes and shimmer shadows. So I'm kind of thinking I definitely want to include this one. This is Lunar or Later from Terra Moons. We'll definitely include this one. And I kind of want to include this one too. I feel like it's a little bit brighter than what's in the palette, but it brings me joy, so I'm going to go with it. This is called Azure Skies, also from Terra Moons. And now we need a deeper blue. I grabbed, I believe this is Nightfall from Sydney Grace, and then I also grabbed the shade Blue Tang from Kaleido Cosmetics. I think I'm going to go with Nightfall just because I think it's a little bit deeper. And then there's this really pretty kind of silvery blue, and when I saw that, I instantly thought of ColourPop Firefly right here. So we're going to add that one in. And then there's kind of, I think this is a shimmer shadow. I really love the tone of both of these shadows, but I think I'm going to end up going with this one. This one is Sydney Grace Comforter. It's a beautiful like tealy turquoise shade. We're going to do swatches at the end, so don't worry. And then finally there's kind of like a sky blue matte to round it out, and for that I think I'm going to go in with the shadow. I believe this is from Sydney Grace as well. It's Oasis. So I think those are it for the 2 left rows in the palette. I'll be sure to pop a picture on the screen so you guys can kind of see what I'm comparing it to, but I'm really happy with these so far. So now let's move on to grabbing a couple of selections for the neutral shadows. Okay guys, here are my picks for the warm tones that are in the palette. So really to start off with, we have like kind of a mustardy, really warm orangey shadow. I don't think I have anything quite that like intensely mustard in my single shadow collection, but I did grab this shade. This is from Sydney Grace. It's called Peach. Ooh, as I throw it. This one's called Peach Crush, so I think that's what we're gonna put over there for now. And then we have a beautiful fiery orange shadow. Again, I don't really have something quite that orange, but I do have a couple of reds in my collection. I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to go with something a little bit softer, like this one right here. I believe this is Hop On from ColourPop, and then this is a neon matte from Terra Moons. It's called Cosmic Blaze. I think I'm gonna have to go with Hop On just because the orange shade that we chose is a little bit more toned down. And I feel like this is just too neon for the palette. And then finally on the bottom portion of the palette, or that bottom spot, we have kind of like a pinky, orangey, shimmery shadow. So we have a couple of options. I feel like this shade from Terra Moons, this is called Bonfire, is probably the most accurate. It's a beautiful duochrome. It shifts from like pink to copper. It's really, really gorgeous. But I also really love this shadow from Kaleido Cosmetics. This is called Lily. It's a beautiful, like, bright pink shadow with, I think it has like a golden shift a little bit. It's really pretty. Let's do a quick swatch of Bonfire as well, so we can see them all laid out right here. And then I also threw in this shadow from Lethal Cosmetics. Lethal Cosmetics doesn't really have my favorite shimmer formula, but this shadow is really pretty. It's called Echo. It's definitely more of a shimmer versus a strong metallic. Or we could also throw in this shadow. This is another one, oops, from Kaleido Cosmetics. This one is called Besties. This is similar to Bonfire, I believe. It's got a little more pink to it. A little more bronzy pink to it. I feel like that one is probably the closest out of the bunch. I don't know, I feel like the one in the palette is a little bit more berry, but this is what we're working with, at least out of my collection. Alright, you guys, now moving on to the next little part of the palette, we've got some muted, like, greenish tones. So first I'm kind of seeing like a dusty, like teal-ish green, and for that I'm going to bring out this matte that we had earlier, or maybe we didn't have this one. This one's called Lucid from Divina. Super duper gorgeous shadow. Then we have kind of like a true metallic olive green. It's not too warm, it's not too cool, it just kind of really walks that line. This one we may have to grab some options for. I feel like out of the bunch, I think this one or maybe this one. One of these two is probably the best bet. This one is from ColourPop. It's called Bashful. It's more of a, like a greeny taupe. It's not really a straight up green. And this one's called Escape from sydneym. That one's very much green. I think this one's going to be too icy. I believe this is Green Mango. I was going to say Sweet Sop from sydneym. Okay, definitely too green. I think I'm going to go with this one. And don't worry, you guys, I will do a little shade roundup or shade name roundup at the end. So if you guys missed me talking about a shade, I'll do one at the end, but then I will also include the shade names in the description box just in case you missed anything. Don't worry, I'll help you back on that. And then finally, it looks like we have just a matte black, and I really only have like one of those in my collection, and I kind of hate it because the quality is not great, but it's ColourPop Prism. It's from one of their palettes that I depotted, and it's just the only one that I have to work with. Okay, now comes the fun part. We have this beautiful pastel row in the palette, and I feel like I already kind of have these shadows picked out in my head, so let me grab them really quick and then we'll go through them. Okay, so I guess I don't quite have them picked out like I thought I would. I do have some debating to do, except for this first shadow right here. It's just like a beautiful light lavender shadow in the palette, and this is one of my favorites in my collection. It's M Cosmetics Elysian. Beautiful. I feel like it's really spot on with the tone. No contenders there. Okay, now where I feel like I don't have quite the right shadow is with these greens. I feel like vibrancy wise, this one right here is probably the closest. This one's from Terra Moons. It is the shade Just a Phase. It's part of their neon matte shadow, but I feel like it's just a hair too deep. So I also pulled out these two, but I feel like now that I'm looking at them tonally, they're just like not even close to the same. So let's pop that one in there. And then I know I have a sparkly periwinkle like in a super shock shadow, but I don't think I have it in like a single. So I kind of brought out some options. First I grabbed Kaleido Cosmetics, I think this is called Surge. Yeah, one of my favorite matte periwinkles in my collection. Really pretty. Then I grabbed Cosmetics Dream Lagoon. This is kind of a weird shadow, you guys. It's, I don't know, I just have to swatch it so you can see. Like, it's almost periwinkle, but it has kind of like a almost a sheer base. I don't know, it's kind of a hard shadow to describe. Then I grabbed this shadow from Cleona. I'm like 98% sure that this is not even gonna be close. This is called Crown Jewel. Yeah, that's way too like royal blue. And then finally I grabbed Little Dipper from Terra Moons. This is one of their pastel chameleons. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with the Cosmetics one. Okay, so starting off in the first row, we have Terra Moons Lunar Later, then we have ColourPop Firefly, next we have Sydney Grace Peach Crush, Davina Cosmetics Ludic, and Cosmetics Elysian. Moving on to the second row, we have Terra Moons Azure Skies, Sydney Grace Comforter, ColourPop Hop On, Sydney Grace Escape, Terra Moons Just Phase. And then moving on to the third row, we have Sydney Grace Nightfall, Sydney Grace Oasis, Menage Cosmetics Besties, ColourPop Prism, and Cosmetics Dream Lagoon. So now let's hop into some swatches. Alright guys, here are some swatches of the palette. NOMAD doesn't have like traditional arm swatches up on their website yet. I believe they said they haven't put them up yet because they didn't have like swatches on every different skin tone or on a variety of skin tones. So if those are somehow miraculously up before I post this video, I will insert a picture on the screen right here so we can kind of do a little side-by-side comparison. I do know that there's an eye swatch video out there, so I can link that down below if you guys want to do that, but I just created my palette based off of what the shadows looked like in the pan. And honestly, I'm really happy with my dupe. I had so much fun creating this palette. Again, all the shade names will be listed down below in case you guys want to recreate it with your own shadows or just want to reference to it later. And please don't forget to go check out Natalie's palette. I'm so excited to see what it looks like. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fantastic. But I think that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy these kind of single shadow shop my stash for dupe type videos. But that's it for me today, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!